Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Dixon, and today I'm going to show you how to replace a cracked iPhone screen. I started to do this around 11th grade because I bought a cracked iPhone for Craigslist because it was cheaper. But I didn't know the screen was cracked, and my mom wouldn't give me $180 to fix it. So I found it online. You can fix your own iPhone screen. So I bought the tools and tried it, and it worked since. So I started to fix other people's iPhone screens for extra money. And you should learn how to do it for the same. You can always make extra money by fixing somebody else's iPhones. There's 700,000 iPhones out in the world right now. You're bound to find someone with a cracked screen. I know friends right now who have cracked iPhone screens. I can always fix the screens for them for about $50 profit at least. And it's really cheaper because the Apple Store now charges at least $180 if you crack your iPhone. Before you start trying to replace your iPhone with this video right here, you should look at what model you have. Each one's almost about the same, but it varies depending on the model. But today I have a 6S, iPhone 6S, and this is one of the more common models, so I'm gonna replace this screen right here. Some of the tools you need is a tweezers to pull the really small screws, so you gotta use the tweezers to pull them. You need a suction cup to pry the screen away from the body of the iPhone itself. You need this pry right here to pull some of the cords instead of pulling away from your hands, because you can cause too much tension and possibly tear the cords. So you gotta use this. You need this Penelope screwdriver because the two screws at the very bottom of the iPhone require this only screwdriver right here, and no other screwdriver will work. And you need this Phillips screwdriver right here because the screws inside the iPhone itself only have Phillips heads, and the Penelope won't work with that. And you have a SIM card remover if you need to remove your SIM card while you're replacing the screen, because you could possibly damage the SIM card while you're doing this. And there's a demagnetizer to demagnetize some of the screws so they won't get stuck everywhere, because each of these screwdrivers have magnetic tips up there. So you gotta use this to make sure the screws don't get stuck to this when you're taking them off. You can buy most of these tools off of eBay or Amazon, anything like that, for around the same price of about $30. You can buy the toolkit. You don't have to buy each of these tools separate. They sell whole toolkits just to replace iPhone screens, and they're really cheap. It's around like $10, and you can always reuse it over and over again. Alright, the first step to fixing your iPhone is to remove the two screws at the very bottom of the phone. They're right by the charging cables there. You see that? Mm-hmm. These two right here, just take the Penelope screwdriver, unscrew them, and place them on like a silk cloth like this, so they won't go on a table and go everywhere or fall or lose them. The second thing you have to do is take the suction cup and pry the cracked screen away from the body of the phone itself. And once you do that, you can use this pry tool right here to squeeze in some wiggle room and pry it completely away. But don't move the screen no more than 80 degrees from the body of the phone. You're going to tear some cables that you don't need to tear at all. And once you raise it, it's like 5 screws on this plate right here. You got to unscrew them and place them somewhere so you won't lose them, or organize it. And take off the plate, and you're going to see about 3 little black connectors on the body of the phone. And just take the pry tool again and just pop them off. Just pop them off from the body of the phone. It should come off easy like Lego pieces. You'll see. And then the screen should be away from the body of the phone. Now since the screen of body is phone, you gotta remove the pieces because you didn't buy the extra home button or camera. So you gotta take these 2 screws, remove these 2 screws right here, remove the plate, and remove the home button away from the cracked phone, and take the tweezers and try to remove the ribbon cable, or you're gonna tear it with your own hands if you try to remove it that way. And second thing you gotta do is remove is a couple screws where the camera Up here is the camera, proximity sensor, and the phone speakers up there. And you gotta remove the couple of screws up there and place them away and keep them organized. And there's one really tall screw. You gotta keep that by itself, or you're gonna get it mixed up, and you're not gonna know where to put it at. And you gotta place all this separate, and you gotta make sure you don't tear any of these cables, or you're gonna be stuck with phone without a front-facing camera at all. And once you do that, the last things on the screen, a crack screen you gotta remove is this metal plate, and there's about 7 screws on the outside of the phone. And you gotta remove each one and put them in a pile because they're all the same size. And then this metal plate should come off. And now your old screen doesn't have any more hardware you need to use, so you can just throw it away now. So now that since the old screen is done, you can toss it in a recycle bin, and now you can take the new screen and reinstall the metal plate first, and then reinstall the home button and reattach the Touch ID sensor cable, and then you can reattach the camera and this proximity sensor and the ear speaker back to the new screen itself. Once you did that, make sure that all the screws are in tight, and make sure all the cables are connected in a good stable manner. And then you gotta reattach. You just gotta reattach the screen to the iPhone itself. But if the screen doesn't come on right away, don't worry. It could be the way you try to connect the screen to the body of the phone itself. But just play with it for a little bit. Like, it could be a couple yellows, it could be a couple colored lines in it, but you just gotta keep on reconnecting the screen until it works, because it should be fine. And make sure your hands aren't sweaty, or you could get sweat into the iPhone. It could cause a short, and you gotta buy a whole new iPhone. But besides that, it's a pretty easy task, and yeah, that's how you do it.